Hey, what's going on YouTube? Lionel here, and I do have a fragrance review for you. I know I said I wasn't going to do anything for the rest of the month. However, I have a couple of minutes. Um, got some yard work to do and barbecuing today. Got some stuff to do later. I forgot we were part of a party and stuff. So anyway, long story short, I don't think there's many reviews on this. Um, so I wanted to get a video out on it, um, and I think it's a very understated fragrance, especially for just the YouTube community. It just doesn't get a lot of actually this house doesn't get a lot of love on YouTube um, or the Facebook groups, but it is probably I said Killian was my favorite house, but then I looked at my collection, and really, this house is my favorite house. I like Killian for what it offers. I just think this one has, sort of a mixture of two of my top three favorite houses, which are Killian and Creed. So I think this house kind of takes these two and merge them sort of into a specific house, and that house is Bond Number Nine. Here is the fragrance. Now I got this from Byron Tessman. He's on a YouTube. I don't know where he is on YouTube, but he is part of the Guru Nation and other Facebook groups. Great guy. And I got this from him, and I mean, do business with him. I mean, he is a legit fella. So, with that said, I want to review, Bleecker Street from the House of Bond. Um, now, I'm going to go into a slight rant after the review for maybe a couple of minutes, um, just to kind of talk about why Bond, why buy Bond. But first, let's get into the review. Now, Bleecker Street was created. You know what? I don't know if I can find a year. Maybe 2008. It was created in 2008. The perfume is David uh, Appel or David Appel maybe. This is considered an Oriental woody fragrance, um, and I wouldn't call it an Oriental woody. I guess you can. I mean, it's definitely Oriental, with some other qualities in it. So maybe the oak moss is giving it the woody. There's some cedar in there. So um, let's get into it. It was created in 2008. It is considered an Oriental woody, and it is from the House of Bond. Now let's talk about this fragrance. I mean, to me, this is probably one of the most unique and distinct warm weather fragrances that you can pull off. I mean, as a matter of fact, I would argue it is probably the most distinct. Um, that is definitely sort of created for spring summer. It sort of has this spring summer feel with just almost a sharp Oriental type of vibe to it. So I just sprayed it on again just to see. So here's what you get. Here, let's talk about the notes first, and then I'll tell you what I think about it. In the top, you have violet leaf, blueberry, and thyme. And in the heart, or in the middle, you have cedar, you have jasmine, and you have cinnamon. And in the base, you have oak moss, you have suede, you have patchouli, amber, and vanilla. So very, 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 very unique note structure comparable to anything else that I noticed on the market outside of my man Robert Elder. This is probably one of the most unique as it relates to notes combined. I mean, you're talking violet, blueberries, thyme, cinnamon, jasmine, cedar, suede, oak moss, patchouli, amber, vanilla. That is a very, 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 very unique note. Um, Breakdown, and the construction of this fragrance is quite unique. So, what do you get? Man, this fragrance is such a unique and it's probably one of my favorite. I put it in my. I'm pretty sure it made my top 10. Maybe I know it didn't make my top 5, But if I was to redo this video, I think I would probably put this one in the top 5, and it would fight for a top 3 spot just because of its uniqueness, and its man, it's just it's appeal. I mean, this is probably this one and um, the Millesime Extreme are two of my most complimented fragrances that I've worn as it gotten warm. Right? You know, it gets warm here a bit earlier than you other places. So you know, it's been warm here since March. Um, so what do you get? You spray it on, and what you get is this violet leaf combined with this blueberry, right? And it's sharp and it's sort of violetly. I mean, I hate to use the word violetly; it's not a word, but it's violet like with this blueberry with this suede quality to it. I mean, when you first spray it, it's very sharp and it's a little sweet, and but it's kicking. I mean, when you first spray it on, you're gonna think, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull this off in warm weather. But just give it a second, give it a couple of minutes, and then this violet and blueberry kind of combines to make just this unique, sharp, sort of fruity, almost cupcakeish type of thing that you have going on. I really believe that the vanilla sort of joins this party quite early. I know it's in the base, um, but it's there. Or this violet is so sweet and the blueberry is so fruity that the mixture of these two almost kind of gives it this sharp dessert type vibe, if you know what I mean. Um, this goes on for pretty much the duration of the fragrance. The violet stays throughout because it just kind of has this sharpness. But as it dries down, it starts to get a bit sweeter and a bit denser. It's not as sharp as it starts to dry down. The opening is very sharp. So if you sprayed this on and just kind of went outside, I think it'll definitely be sharp to anybody you encounter. But give it about 5 minutes and it starts to just smooth out. I think that's the suede. There's this suede quality to it. And again, as I say this a lot, but the suede isn't really a note. It's really sort of as a texture or sort of a texture or a vibe to it, right? It kind of makes it suede. You see what I'm saying? Like you almost feel the suede. I mean, you smell it, but it's like you're almost wearing this suede quality type fragrance. Almost like if you rubbed it, you would have suede. It smells like what suede would smell like, I guess. Um, but it's not really a note. It's not really a scent. Like if you took everything out and you just had suede, I don't think it would really have any real, real, note. Nothing really to your nose. But mixed in with this violet and mixed in with this violet leaf and mixed in with this blueberry and mixed in with this oak moss, it just sort of combines and makes just this extremely distinct, unique, very pleasant. Is green, it's sort of a green, fruity, suede type fragrance with this oak moss, just sort of holding it together. The oak moss is definitely sort of the foundation of this fragrance, right? Um, and believe it or not, Bond is very, very keen on oak moss. A lot of Bonds have this oak moss note. It's in Great Jones. This oak moss is in Great Jones also, and it sort of has this Great Jones feel to it. But it's not fair. I mean, this is green. There is no real citrus in this fragrance, which I really, really like. I'm so glad that they decided to avoid citrus notes in this fragrance. I think it just would have, you know, took a very distinct, unique fragrance and just made it common. I think with the notes that they decided to go with, it's there, and I think what also is there is there's this there's a this cinnamon vanilla combo is sort of giving it this dessert type of vibe, right? So it's blueberry, violet leaves, some cinnamon in there, kind of giving it a little spiciness, vanilla giving it this really, really nice sweetness, and this suede sort of giving it this quality, right? Um, And that's what I really get out of this fragrance. There's jasmine and some amber. I mean, I guess you can sense the amber there, but the amber is very, it's not a key player. The patchouli's not a key player. And the cedar is probably giving it that woodsy vibe, but it's definitely not a cedar Latin type of fragrance. So what you get is blueberry, violet leaf, kind of mixing because the violet leaf is the more dominant note in this fragrance. So you get this violet leaf, but this oak moss kind of gives it that that creamy type vibe. How oak moss plays in a fragrance, kind of gives it this green sort of fragrant note. And the violet leaf is very green. Then it's blueberry, cinnamon, vanilla, kind of comes in and just sweetens it up and almost gives it this dessert type of vibe, right? Um, let's talk about projection and longevity and things. The projection on this fragrance is great. It projects very, very well, but very professionally. So here's what I mean. This isn't a go get you fragrance, but the sillage on it is terrific. As you walk back and forth past people, I work in the office and I'm in my office and I walk out and I go past queues. People smell me as I'm walking by, and it, I always compliment it. When I say always, I've not worn this fragrance and I've gotten very, very nice compliments. I wore it to someone's house one time. We were going to like a little barbecue party, man, and they complimented. He was, "Wow, you smell great. Don't come over here smelling so good." Wore it to work, and I mean, some of my toughest critics. I got a manager, female manager, and she absolutely loved it. I got compliments from everybody on the floor. Every time I wear this fragrance, it is just widely, widely complimented. Um, Projection, like I said, is very professional. I mean, I think about here. I think it'll give you a couple of feet, 2, 3 feet, and the sillage is very good. I give it I give it 5 in sillage. I give it a 4.5 in projection. Actually, I give it a 5 in projection for what it does. I mean, for it to be a summer spring scent, it definitely gets an A+ in that category. Compliment factor, I give it an A+. It works very well with my skin chemistry, and people just tend to love it. And I love green fragrances, and this is a very unique green fragrance. I don't have to blend Bleecker Street with anything else to really get it to work like I do a lot of some of the other blondes like Coney Island. I don't like wearing Coney Island on its own. I usually blend Coney Island with something, which is going to lead into something else I want to talk about. Overall, I give this fragrance a high, high, high mark. If you're looking for something unique and distinct for the summer, spring, this is definitely your fragrance. This is your fragrance of choice, especially if you like green, sort of sharp, uh, slightly sweet fragrances. This will be your most unique warm weather fragrance in your collection, outside of spending a bunch of money on something from 1861 or Uden or Kobe or something of that nature. Finally, so overall, this is a definitely great fragrance to have, and definitely my next full bottle. I have this much left, and I'm going to wear this one out first. And once I wear this out, I'm definitely going out to find me a full bottle of it. Finally, I want to talk real quick about Bond. I got 2 minutes. I want to stop at 15 minutes. Bond, the reason I said Bond is one of the best houses is because it carries fragrances very similar to Creed. You got Saks Fifth for him. You got um, 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 the Hamptons. You got Shea Bond. You got all those fragrances, which you can say copied Creed, Riverside Drive, but I actually like some of those fragrances a bit more. I mean, I love my Creed, right? I just find those fragrances sort of just has a bit more pizzazz, a little more like Riverside Drive has a bit more pizzazz, right? Shea Bond has a little more sweetness than, like, say, Green Irish Tweed. Hamptons, I like over Silver Mountain Water. So if I was to choose, outside of Bond just limiting it itself without the flacons, I just like the option that Creed gives me with the flacons. Now, but Creed has the Royal Ouds and, Jardines, and nothing can touch those. So, but Wall Street, Coney Island, and Wall Street, Saks Fifth for him, West Broadway. Those fragrances are very nice, very clean, very professional fragrances. And then it has the sexy, playful fragrances, much like you have with Killian. You got the Bleecker Streets, the New Harlems. You have the Coney Islands. You have the West Sides. You have the New York Ambers, and you have those types of fragrances. And one last thing I want to talk about is blending. I got about 20 seconds. I'm going to go about 16 minutes here, guys. I'm sorry. But one unique thing about Bond is you can blend. Email me, PM me, and I can just give you a list. Talk to Adam DeGraff. Talk to a lot of other people. Bond is very, very keen on blending. So if you were to go buy 4 Bonds, you can blend these fragrances and make a bunch of different fragrances. I mean, almost exponential. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. We have, instead of having 4 fragrances, you now have 12 fragrances or 13 fragrances, because you can blend these fragrances, 4 together, 3 together, 2 together, 1 together, one with two and one with three, and this one and that one. And Bond is very, very good with that. So that is another reason I like. Some of my favorites are, Wall Street and Brooklyn, Wall Street, Brooklyn, and Hamptons, Hamptons and Highline, Highline and Ode New York, Ode New York and New Harlem, and those types of fragrances, those types of blends work very, very well. Turns a lot of heads, um, um, and they just go out a long way. So, again, Bleecker Street. Thank you guys for watching. I know I said I was going to try to keep it at 15 minutes. I went to about 16 minutes. Thank you for watching. Have a great Memorial Day.